Hello everyone! Welcome, finally, to Blood Bowl 3.
I made it. Finally. After all those years of hardship. After everything they told me. I'm gonna show them that even I can be the best player.
This is Blood Bowl!
Alright, first things first everybody, let's build a team. So, with the advent of Blood Bowl 3 and its team creation, I asked all of you on a few occasions who you'd prefer I played. One of the new teams, being the Imperial Nobility, the Black Orcs, the Chaos Renegades, or of course the Old World Alliance. You all came back with a few bits in sort of different parts of it, so the new teams were kind of the main focus. I'll come back to that in a second. Then, surprisingly, the next on the list was let Nuffle decide and just dice roll it. And then, skillful teams like the Dark Elves, the Elven Union, Humans, or Skaven, which tend to be a little bit less bashy, a little bit more, finessed. And then the bashy teams, which of course are the Nurgle, Chaos Chosen, the Dwarves, and the Orcs. New teams victored quite hugely over everything else, and I'm on side with that, because I've made a decision as to who I think I'm going to play. However, in the poll I released yesterday, asking all of you what you think of who I should play, surprisingly, and I will point this out, you all said that the least gripping, the least interesting of the new teams was of course the Imperial Nobility we see here. Yet you all decided for some reason that's who you'd like to see me play first. I'm a bit curious as to why that reason is. Maybe it's because in the beta matches that I posted I struggled the most with the Imperial Nobility simply because I had no apothecary money left over to build the team properly. So it is something that I may come back to, but it's not something I'm going to jump into today. You see, with the Imperial Nobility, they are just Neo-Bretonia. They're Bretonia with a big guy, or the Bretonians with a big guy, or, yeah, it's not interesting to me at all. The main thing that is interesting, however, is the absolute, just, patchwork nature of how this team works. Chaos Renegades are interesting. They have multiple big guys for a very bashy, tanky strategy. They have a few interesting positionals in the form of Skaven and Orcs, and also, on top of that, they get a rather unique little bit of a a blend into the mix, which is, of course, the mutation skill tree, which isn't something a lot of teams get access to. I think, at the moment, the only teams that get access to mutations are the Chaos Renegades, the Skaven, and Nurgle. I think. So, yeah, it's a little bit weird. That's what I'm gravitating towards, because I did enjoy playing my beta team, the Xenophobic Misfits, although the team name apparently caused a little bit of a hoo-ha. Not something I intended whatsoever, but, you know, it is kind of what it is, and generally, well, I don't want to annoy people just by picking a team, so I've come up with a few different bits, and I'm going to see if it fits, just to see if I can have it, and then we'll see where to go from there. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this team, or if it's going to be a good team. I just know this is where I'm going to choose my start in Blood Bowl. I am somewhat driven to make this team a success, just out of affinity for them. I've picked a name for the team, Bluelight's Misfits, named after the character that my channel and I, for a lot of people, have become somewhat synonymous with. Now, we're adaptable. We have up to 3 big guys on the team at any given time, and a maximum total of 4 to choose from. We have easy access to mutation skills that can create a very volatile but incredibly diversely strange team. We also have animosity on most of the players, so it's a little bit iffy on the passing, limited striking power at creation, and a high cost of team rerolls. I'm used to dealing with that because I have, in the past, played a necromantic team, a team of which is very close to my heart and I hope makes an appearance in Blood Bowl 3 sooner rather than later. As far as I'm aware, the first team to come out of this is going to be vampires from 15 and 13. Let's hope they're a bit more lucky than Blood Bowl 2, had you believe they were, because they are a double-edged sword and a half because of their vampires choosing to feed on their thralls. However, necromantics always had their downsides as well. Zombies weren't great linemen, although they were super tanky in terms of just being lucky, and I had 1 or 2 zombies that really shone as star players. But realistically, your werewolves are the star players, and they're there to steal the spotlight constantly, and they are by far my favourite Blood Bowl players. A little bit risky with Frenzy, but very adaptable, very good at moving the ball, very good at taking on targets. Pretty much a jack of all trades with a lot of strong points and not a lot of drawback aside from their cost. Now, the one thing that really got me in Blood Bowl 2 was the whole, any gold you have saved up goes towards team value if you've got more than a certain amount. In this, that's not the case, and I hope that spiralling expenses aren't also a factor in your team's earnings, because this will pretty much dictate and decide whether or not they're going to be good on the long term. So, let's craft the team. And hell am I not allowing the game to make a team for me. That just seems like a bad idea. Maybe as a joke at some point I will, but mine, this is my team, this is my handprint on the wall of Blood Bowl 3. This team I want to be the true embodiment of what I want. My golden boys, or, you know, players. But yeah, let's see what I can do. Alright, we're here, to the team build page. Now, having a look at all of the players you can recruit, this is definitely one of the most varied teams you can get in all of Blood Bowl. Now, my problem is, how do I build this? Because I realistically want enough for a couple of rerolls. So if I just put them in there, and an apothecary, that leaves me with how much money? 810? And I want my 3 big guys. The problem is, Renegade Ogre, Renegade Rat Ogre, Renegade Troll. That immediately, to me, would bankrupt my team for a vast majority of its funds. And it doesn't leave me with much else. And there is no way, looking at it, I'm going to fill out my team with that, yeah? Because even if I tried it. Actually, okay. No, it's fine. I can get 11 players. So if I just do this, I guess. It's not a good team, but it works, and it has some money left over. But even then, with that being a thing, I'm not even sure that I want to try and... The Renegade Ogre and the Renegade Troll both have their uses. I prefer the Rat Ogre to the Troll, simply because the Rat Ogre has, you know, mainly the prehensile tail. Like, it's just... that is far too useful. -1 on dodge, jump up or leap tests an opponent who tries to get past this mark clear. It's basically just a case of if they're stunty or anything, it just negates it because the tail can catch them out, which is always handy. Whereas the Troll, well, it regenerates if it gets injured, but what are the odds that the big guy gets hurt? Now I've said that, I may just actually jinx myself. However, that isn't the point. My point is, I need to work out how I'm going to realistically build this team properly, not just out of an ideology. So, take the Troll out, add in all of the linemen that I can, because, you know, linemen are linemen. The Goblin, I'm in two minds. I do kind of want the Goblin because of, you know, right stuff and the ability to throw them around a bit, but it doesn't bring anything to my team. It brings something to my opponent's game, but not mine. It makes them think about what could potentially happen if they get a lucky break with the Goblin, and that's fine. But it doesn't play into the strategy I have in mind for the team and how it's built. So I'm not sure how it can work or what I'm going to get from it from my side of the game, and it will be down to me to adapt that to play around that player. I don't know if I'm good enough to do that, I'll be honest. So it's kind of a questionable decision. But it may be one that I come back to. The Renegade Human Thrower, I do kind of want to throw it on the ball, but the animosity makes it a little bit bad. I mean, currently I'm sitting on, what, half a roster in terms of the players that I've got. So it could be worse, could be better. I just don't know. I really don't know. Now, if I was going to plan out a full team, I want the Dark Elf. I also kind of want the Thrower. And then how many players do I still need? Because I've got, what, 9? So that's my starting lineup of 11 players for 1 million. No Goblin. But then, I don't know though. The higher the winnings to be shared at the end of the match. So that actively dictates your winnings to have fans. That's pretty damn useful. That wasn't that good in Blood Bowl 2. But if I ditch a lineman and then go with this little guy, I've got another purchase down here, haven't I really? But this is tough because this team could easily adapt its strategy in any way, but it doesn't lead to a cohesive strategy. So there's a kind of a double-edged sword here. I'm going to go with an assistant coach and a cheerleader, I think, and leave this down to the very bare minimum, because essentially, well, it's a new team. It hasn't played. It needs to earn the fans, not buy them. I know that it's essentially an oxymoron in the fact that it's going to reduce my winnings, but, well, yeah, it's kind of... It's how I see the team starting out. They're not going to be popular off the bat. So, that's the full 1 million. Yeah, pay it up. Pay it forward. Alright, team is built. That's it. It's got everything it needs. So now, I get to build them. So what do? Let's first work on the jersey, yeah? Patterning, basic, palette. Well, let's start with a primary. So, what colours do we have here? I want to go with blue as a primer. That's a very nice blue. That's a very nice blue. Definitely dark. The dull neutral level blue I like. Secondary colour. Properly crystalline white. I did want to go with something really dark. That's more like it. And then the third colour. Yeah, that can work. That can very much work. What about the patterning? Does this have any impact? I think leaving it as a solid colour base should be fine for now. The emblem of the team. Now this could be anything, really. Star of Fatality. Yeah, I think this kit looks good. That works very well for me. Okay. So that's the kit. That's save. Yes. Lovely. Cheerleaders. Well, you get two choices. The Brutal Edition cheerleaders, which actually fits this team nicely. So yeah, I'm going with that. Coaches, who we got? That's one hell of a gut you got there, fella. Go with an orcish coach. The stadium. Now this is something I'm going to have to put work into. The ordinary human pitch. Guess I'll have to unlock the other pitches. Enough for me. What about the grandstands? Just the city grandstands? That's fine. I can work with that for now. The brutal dice set. I think the regular dice set look fine. Ball. The brutal edition ball is just rusty iron. Let's just stick with the ordinary American football, shall we? Team motto. Haven't actually got one yet. And the team name, of course, can be changed at any time. Well, that's everything in terms of the overall build of the team. Now it's just working out how to play them. I think this is probably the worst strategy it could have given me. Just play your big guys at the back and, you know, your regular linemen up front. So, throwers number 8. No, throwers number 11. So, there. So, number 11 back here. And this is on offense, yeah? Big guys up front. The Renegade Orc in the middle, that works for me. The Renegade Dark Elf about here. Renegade Lineman. Renegade Lineman. Renegade Lineman. linemen. And then... Okay. The Renegade Skaven. Is that the kind of strategy I want to go with? Because the two big guys are here, and then I need like an extra lineman alongside them, don't I, really? But then, if I neglect one side... Because there's the dead center of the pitch, basically, right? So having the orc in the dead center is probably a good idea, backed up by the big guys. I could potentially play a little bit more defensive. It's not really a uniform formation, but it could work. Alright, well, that's my baseline offense, I guess. It'll modify as we go. If I can spell, that is. And then the defense, this is going to be just as awful, isn't it? So... Okay, 10 is the Renegade Dark Elf, which I want near the... I want them near the front on defense, because I want them to be able to move adaptively and intercept the passes. Renegade Human Lineman. Renegade Human Lineman. Where's my Renegade Skaven? There? Renegade Thrower. And these two linemen. I'm a little bit tempted to do that, but like maybe back one for the line of scrimmage. Having a defensive lineup here like this, it means I've got the pitch fairly well covered, but yeah, I kind of need these two a little bit more over this side if it's going to be as weak as it is. I suppose I can play the Dark Elf in the wing. I'll give that a try and see how it works out. Got my two formations. I've got pretty much everything I need. Everything is all set. Team's all ready.